saying on this show throughout this Hunter Biden episode, which is that if Hunter Biden broke the law, he should be prosecuted. It's clear he broke the law with respect to taxes, possibly the ownership of a handgun. He should be held accountable for that. You say that's true, and that's something no Republican has ever said about Donald Trump or his family. But what the Congress is theoretically looking into is some tie to Joe Biden. They've provided no evidence for that. They haven't found it. They've been working on this for years and years and years. But it is, I think, an important distinction. If there was a law broken, that's for the justice system to handle with Hunter Biden, and they should do that. The question is, does Joe Biden have any relationship to that? And the answer so far is no.
Yeah, and understand what's happening here psychologically, right? Donald Trump was impeached twice for things that the American people could watch on TV. What's interesting about the Biden thing, the Republicans, it's just this internal primal urge to visit retribution on the Democrats. And the problem is they can't find a fact. So look, is there problematic questions about Hunter Biden? And I said something that shouldn't be controversial, which is that if you committed a crime, you should be held accountable. But have they pointed to anything to suggest that Joe Biden engaged in corrupt behavior? No. And on the contrary, Hunter Biden's business partner said, yeah, he was on some phone calls talking about the weather. Exchanging pleasantries. You know, is that in the category of, presidential family members that are problematic? Billy Carter, Hugh Rodham, maybe it's in that category, but it is sure and absolutely not a crime. So, they're just in this box of their own making.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about Tucker Carlson, who is the gift that keeps on giving, okay? This man is doing God's work, okay? He is working harder than most Republicans in Congress to expose the Biden administration and to make a case for impeachment, because Democrats are saying that there's no evidence, right? There's no evidence that Biden was involved in Hunter Biden's business deals. There's no evidence that he spoke about business with Hunter Biden's business partners, right? The phone calls that Joe was having with Hunter Biden's business partners, where he was allegedly on speakerphone, it was just about the weather. They were exchanging pleasantries, right? That's what they were doing, okay? According to the mainstream liberal media and the Democrats, because they want you to believe that Hunter Biden, who was clearly peddling influence overseas, right, using his father's name, would put his dad on the phone when he's in a business meeting with his business partners just to have his dad say hello and to talk about the weather. Apparently, Joe is an international weather enthusiast, okay? At least that's what the mainstream liberal media and Democrats want us to believe, because they believe that you, as the listener, the audience, you are dumb, stupid, and naive. And that leads me to this interview here from Tucker Carlson that he just dropped, in which he actually is talking to Devon Archer, who just testified before Congress behind closed doors about the nature of Hunter Biden and his business dealings involving his father, and how he went about peddling his father's influence overseas. I want you guys to watch this video. It's an extended clip here, okay, of this interview, because you can clearly tell from Devon Archer's mannerisms and just the fact that he's doing this interview with Tucker Carlson in general, that he knows that there is a lot of shady stuff going on with the Bidens. Take a look.
So how many, it's been reported, and you have said that there were occasions when Joe Biden would call in with clients present on a speakerphone.
Right.
How many times do you think that happened?
I mean, over a 10-year partnership, I would, the number I'm going with is 20. That's probably the amount that I kind of reckon. Yeah, a lot, you could say.
So Joe Biden, who's very much a product of Washington, of course must have known that he was calling in to effectively a business meeting that his son was having. I mean, he must have understood that was kind of what his son was selling.
Well, it's hard for me to speculate on that.
But I guess my question, just to keep it to the facts, Joe Biden, then the sitting vice president, knew that there were Hunter's business associates in the room.
Yeah, I think I could definitively say at particular dinners or meetings, he knew there were business associates, and or if I was there, I was a business associate too. Yeah. So I think, or if, any of the other colleagues from the DC office or the New York office were there. So yeah, at times there were. From the, to be, completely clear on the calls, I don't know if it was an orchestrated call in or not. It certainly was powerful though, because, if you're sitting with a foreign business person and you hear the vice president's voice, that's prize enough. I mean, that's pretty impactful stuff for anyone in the world.
It's been reported, and I know that it is true, that Hunter and his brother were very close to their dad.
Absolutely.
Which I think is great.
Yep.
I've got a lot of kids. I'm very close to them, talk to them every day.
Yeah.
Never called them on speaker during a business meeting. That's weird. You've got a lot of kids. You're close to them. Do you call them on speaker during business meetings?
Do I call?
I mean, what is that? A grown man calling his dad on a speakerphone during a business meeting?
Right. And to be clear, sometimes the call was coming in and the speaker would go on. So it's just the president. You have to be. I mean, you understand DC, right? So the power to have that access in that conversation, and it's not in a scheduled conference call, and it's a part of your family. That's like the pinnacle of power in DC.
100%. I guess I'm pivoting against the lie that I'm hearing people tell with a straight face. Congressman Goldman, for example, that we don't really know what was going on. Really? You're taking a call from the vice president and you put it on speaker. It's not just, hey, Dad, I'm in a meeting with some buddies.
Right.
It's let me put my dad, the vice president, on speaker.
Yeah. Yep. In the rear view, it's an abuse of soft power, I'd say.
An abuse of soft power. Interesting. When did you meet Joe Biden?
Joe Biden, I met the first time probably at the 2000 convention. I think it was in LA, and then Boston was 2004. So those two times I probably shook hands as they made kind of the power circles around the. You've been to them through the skyboxes, and then following that, really when our partnership started in 2008, 2009-ish, conversation started. That's when I re-met Hunter and actually had a sit down and a meal with him, and talked about the transition from lobbying into strategic advisory, and then kind of some type of coalescence around having a private equity fund that would have this unique access and understanding of a regulatory environment in DC.
Again, got it.
To be clear.
How many times do you think you met Joe Biden during the course of your relationship with Hunter?
How many times? I should have this off the top of my head since I've been asked so many times. Probably same thing, 20.
So I got one last question for you, and we'll do a much longer interview and get the entire story. But we found this letter, kind of amazing. It's from January 20th, 2011, which I think puts you in your late 30s, mid to late 30s. Right. Okay, so you're a younger man. This is from the Vice President of the United States, Joe Biden, to you personally, and it's personalized here at the bottom. Devon Archer, Rosemont Seneca Partners, that was your partnership with Hunter Biden in Georgetown. Dear Devon, I apologize for not getting a chance to talk to you at the luncheon yesterday. I was having trouble getting away from hosting President Hu Jintao, who's running China at that point. I hope I get a chance to see you again soon with Hunter. I hope you enjoyed lunch. Thanks for coming. Sincerely, Joseph R. Biden Jr. P.S. Handwritten, happy you guys are together. So there are many levels here. But here's the Vice President of the United States saying to you, a man in his mid-30s, who's not a government official, I'm sorry I was occupied with the guy who runs the world's largest country. I would much rather talk to you, and thank you. What was he thanking you for?
Well, first of all, it's a lovely letter, and it was...
It's quite enthusiastic. It's a little weird, though, right?
Yeah, well, it was kind of the beginning of our partnership, and he was thanking me and thanking Hunter, I think, at the end of the day, for bringing this idea of this government regulatory strategic advisory business into the private equity world. And I think he was excited about the prospects for Hunter, and he was just thanking me. I think it was a nice gesture.
It was a nice, for sure.
For sure.
Very polite. It gets a 10 on the etiquette scale, but he's a vice president of the United States, and he's talking about foreign business deals with you and thanking you for that.
I think, again, it goes back to my earlier point I think I hit the jackpot in finding the regulatory environment or company that can navigate right to the top. But, obviously, as time was told, being a little bit too close to the sun ends up burning you.
For sure. And it did you, and
Absolutely.
you suffered greatly for it. And this is not a criticism of you. I would think as a business guy, you use every advantage. These are not business guys. This is the vice president of the United States. He's not allowed to be working on businesses with foreign governments while he's vice president. I don't think.
Not that I know of.
But here he is.
Right.
Amazing. We'll be back. Devon Archer, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I was listening to Marjorie Taylor Greene in an interview that she did, I think yesterday, about Devon Archer's testimony behind closed doors. And she made an excellent point in regards to how to think about the things that Devon Archer is saying, because Democrats are trying to play dumb with what everybody knows and what everybody can sense here in regards to how Devon Archer is giving a wink and a nod to basically verify all the allegations that are levied against Joe Biden and Hunter Biden in regards to them being in business together to sell out this country, okay? And Joe Biden making policy decisions, okay, in exchange for money, okay? We know that because of the FBI Form 1023 that Joe Biden allegedly received a multi-million-dollar payout as a part of a bribery scheme between then President Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and a foreign national. Okay, now this is backed up by the fact that you have FBI whistleblowers coming out and disclosing the existence of these records. Okay, and again, Marjorie Taylor Greene made a good point about that. She said, well, look, this is a difficult testimony for Devon Archer because he also, by definition, was involved in influence peddling, right? Using the vice president of the United States, which, you know, is a crime, right? And he can't just outright say it, right? He can kind of say it up until the point where people with common sense and two brain cells rubbed together can understand exactly what he's doing, right? It's a wink and a nod to, yeah, Joe Biden was on the phone, right? Hunter Biden put Joe Biden on the phone. But, you know, hey, it seems to me that, you know, it was at the very least a soft abuse of power, right? Now, again, I can understand why he would not come out here and just say with a straight face that, yeah, Hunter Biden put Joe Biden on the phone to discuss business deals because, again, he could be putting himself in trouble, right? Especially since he doesn't have immunity, okay? So, again, you know, people kind of got to connect the dots here. There's a reason why this man, who allegedly was friends with Hunter Biden, he was Hunter Biden's N-word, right, for a long time. He's now coming out and doing interviews with Tucker Carlson. Okay, he understands politics. He's a smart guy. He knows what it means when he puts out an interview or he agrees to sit down and do an interview with Tucker Carlson. Now, it's one thing to be subpoenaed and told that, hey, you have to show up for some type of congressional testimony or, you know, you're going to go to jail or whatever. That's one thing. But to do a completely optional sit-down interview with Tucker Carlson and not just flat out say Joe Biden never discussed business dealings with Hunter Biden or with his business partners. It was just Joe Biden getting on the phone, saying, hey, talking about the weather, right? Saying exactly what the Democrats claimed that he said behind closed doors. Again, it tells you everything that you need to know, right? I don't think we need to hear a direct testimony from Devon Archer, which he says, yeah, Joe Biden definitely discussed business deals with Hunter, and this is what he discussed, X, Y, and Z. Because, again, that probably is putting himself in trouble considering that he was involved with the operation. I'm just saying. So people got to put the proper context on the wink and the nod, like the obvious, like, you know, hey, you know, I ain't saying it happened, but I'm also not saying it didn't happen. Testimony that's coming from Devon Archer here. And everything that I'm saying here is dependent on this interview not being cut up in a way that basically takes out Devon Archer, you know, saying without any type of confusion or saying directly that, hey, you know, Hunter and Joe never spoke, right? That never happened or anything like that. And any type of transcript or extended interview where he actually really does directly say, you know, that Joe didn't talk to Hunter about business deals or that, you know, Hunter wasn't peddling influence or whatever, right? Like that's pending any type of direct denial that we haven't seen yet, okay? Whether that be from the testimony, okay, in the form of a transcript that tells us exactly what he said or parts of the interview that Tucker Carlson cut out, okay? But regardless, right, I think that we now know why the DOJ wanted this guy to go to prison, right? They were basically demanding this guy to go to prison before his congressional testimony, right? Because this guy's a liability, okay? Because he's talking. And the more he talks, the more questions that a lot of people are going to have about the nature of Hunter and Joe Biden's relationship when it came to dealing with Hunter Biden's business relationships and his business partners, right? In which, Tucker Carlson brings out a letter that has Joe Biden's handwritten signature of Joe Biden literally writing a letter to Hunter Biden's business partner telling him that, hey, I'm sorry that I missed your meeting. I was just meeting with the Chinese president, right? He was an annoying guy. I really tried to get away from him. The president of China, okay? Look, that guy, he was so annoying. That meeting wasn't that important, right? I'm sorry, right? I'm so sorry. Again, anybody with two brain cells to rub together knows what's going on here, okay? Joe Biden is flexing power, right? He's flexing power. He's using his influence as leverage to help Hunter Biden in his business deals and to show that, hey, my son has power and influence. My son has access to me. I mean, it's all right there, right? When you have a whole lot of smoke, okay, yeah, there's a fire. But again, Democrats, because they believe people are stupid, they believe you're dumb, they don't believe that you're capable of piecing all the evidence that we have together, okay? WhatsApp text messages, bank records, wire transfers, LLCs, texts, emails, WhatsApp messages, photos of Joe and Hunter doing business together, voicemails, okay? Two business partners saying that, Joe Biden's the brand, he's the big guy, he's the chairman, okay? Whistleblower testimony, recorded phone calls between Joe Biden and foreign officials, okay? And video of Joe Biden bragging, straight up bragging about using his influence to benefit the company that his son happened to be the board of directors on, even though his son has no skills whatsoever, right? But again, mainstream liberal media, no evidence. No evidence, right? Now we have a handwritten letter, okay? Or a hand-signed letter, to be more specific. We have a hand-signed letter from Joe Biden apologizing for not being able to talk to Hunter Biden's business partner, right? Because he was too busy meeting with the president of China, as if that's not an important thing, right? That's not more important than this business meeting. Amazing stuff. But hey, if you listen to the mainstream liberal media, they'll tell you that, Joe Biden hopped on the phone with Hunter because he was grieving over his son, Beau, right? Beau Biden had just died, and he was grieving. Right? So that's why Joe Biden hopped on the phone with his son to speak to Joe Biden's business partners and to talk about the weather. That was a form of grieving. Again, this is what the mainstream liberal media wants you to believe. They think you're that stupid. But regardless, like I said, Republicans have to impeach. I mean, they have to impeach, okay? I mean, if what Trump did in Ukraine with that phone call is a quid pro quo, right? I mean, I'm not sure how you don't call this the same thing, right? There's much more evidence of pay to play when it comes to this, okay? And I mean, we have Joe Biden literally admitting to using his power to benefit his son's company. I don't know how you don't impeach for this. I really don't. I mean, Democrats set the precedent for it with their petty impeachment of Trump. I think Republicans have to get them a taste of their own medicine. And I think we have more than enough evidence at this point to move forward. Damn the so-called moderate Republicans who want to play nice about this because they're afraid that it might affect the outcome of their races and swing districts. Look, you have a solid case to present to the American people. Again, anybody with two brain cells to rub together knows what the hell is going on. And we definitely should move forward with impeachment. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.